Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that will make you question everything. Story 1. My best friend's boyfriend is secretly misogynistic online. So my lifelong best friend has no idea her boyfriend of 5 years is basically trolling women online every single day. I've known this girl since we were 2 years old, and I'm watching her date someone who's literally commenting body-shaming stuff on random women's Instagram posts. Like, this guy will see a plus-sized woman posting a selfie and just go off on her. He leaves misogynistic comments on posts from women with bigger followings. It's disgusting. The thing is, my friend and I aren't as close as we used to be in high school, but we're still family friends. Our families are super tight. And I keep seeing this pattern of behavior from her boyfriend that she clearly doesn't know about. He's not just doing this once or twice, this is routine for him. I'll be scrolling Instagram and boom, there's another nasty comment from this guy on some random woman's post. Part of me thinks I should tell her because if I were in her shoes, I'd want to know. Like, if my partner was spending their free time tearing down other women online, that would be a massive red flag for me. It says something about how he really views women, including her. But then I think about how this could blow up. We're not best friends anymore, so is it really my place? What if she doesn't believe me? What if she thinks I'm trying to sabotage her relationship? What if I show her the screenshots and she just gets mad at me instead of him? And there's the whole family-friend situation too. Our families have been close forever, and this could create drama that affects way more people than just me and her. But at the same time, I keep thinking about how I'd feel if someone knew this about my boyfriend and didn't tell me. I'd be devastated that I wasted years with someone who had these views about women. And what if they get married? What if they have daughters? Is this the kind of man she really wants to build a life with? The comments aren't just mildly inappropriate either, they're genuinely cruel and hateful. This isn't like he's making dad jokes in comment sections. He's actively trying to hurt women he doesn't even know. Would I be wrong to tell her what kind of person she's really dating? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. My nephew destroyed my Nintendo Switch and now I'm petty. So I asked my sister for $50 for gas money last week because I was between paychecks, and now I'm thinking about not paying her back because her kid destroyed my Nintendo Switch. Okay, let me explain this whole mess. I'm 19 and still living at home while working on moving out. I have this Nintendo Switch that I got for Christmas a few years ago, and I use it almost daily. I've invested probably like $300 in games for this thing over the years. So last weekend, my sister brought her son over to our house. This kid is 7 years old, and honestly, he's kind of a terror. But whatever, he's family, right? Well, apparently while no one was watching, he decided to mess with my Switch. And I'm not talking about just playing games on it. This kid somehow managed to completely destroy it. Like, the screen is cracked, buttons aren't working, the whole thing is basically unusable now. When I found it, I was honestly devastated. This wasn't just some cheap toy, it was my main source of entertainment, plus all those games I'd bought. I immediately told my sister what happened, and here's where it gets really frustrating. Instead of being apologetic or offering to replace it, she just gave me this whole speech about how kids will be kids and accidents happen. She basically acted like it was no big deal and I was being dramatic for being upset about it. She didn't offer to pay for repairs, didn't offer to replace it, didn't even seem to care that her son had destroyed something that wasn't his. Her attitude was basically tough luck, deal with it. So now I'm sitting here thinking about that $50 I owe her, and I'm wondering why I should pay her back when she won't take responsibility for what her kid did to my property. The way I see it, she owes me way more than $50 for a new Switch, so maybe we should just call it even. But my family is saying I'm being petty and that these are two separate issues. They're saying I borrowed money and I should pay it back regardless of what happened with the Switch. Am I really being unreasonable here though? Like, if someone's kid breaks your stuff and they refuse to make it right, why should you go out of your way to pay them back money you owe them? Shouldn't she at least acknowledge that what her son did was wrong and offer to help fix the situation? Am I wrong for thinking we should just call it even? Story 3. I named a sheltered dog Flimflam and now everyone's mad. So my friend thinks I'm completely wrong and that anyone outside my immediate circle would agree with them, but I honestly don't see the problem here. I was having a really difficult week, and my partner was trying to cheer me up by coming up with names for this sheltered dog that needs to be adopted. He asked me to contribute some suggestions to the list, so I threw out 2 names, Poughkeepsie and Flimflam. Now, I kind of agree that Poughkeepsie might be a bit much, but I would totally name a dog that if it was mine. Like, imagine calling across a dog park, Poughkeepsie, come here. It's ridiculous and I love it. But Flimflam? Come on, that's actually a great dog name. It's fun, it's memorable, and dogs don't care what you call them as long as you say it with love. But apparently my partner thinks both names are way too silly for a shelter dog. He's worried that potential adopters won't take the dog seriously if it has a goofy name. He thinks it might actually hurt the dog's chances of finding a forever home because people will think the shelter staff are unprofessional or not taking the adoption process seriously. He wants to stick with normal names like Max or Bella or something generic like that. And honestly, I get where he's coming from, but I think he's overthinking it. If someone is going to pass on adopting a perfectly good dog just because of its name, then maybe they're not the right family for that dog anyway. Plus, people can always change the dog's name after they adopt it. It's not like it's permanent. I've seen shelter dogs with all kinds of names, some normal, some weird, and they all find homes eventually. The name isn't what matters, it's the connection between the dog and the potential family. And let's be real, a dog named Flimflam is going to stick in people's minds way more than a dog named Buddy number 57. Maybe that memorability is actually a good thing. Maybe someone will remember the dog with the funny name and come back to meet them. My friend says I'm being insensitive because this is about a homeless animal finding a family, not about my entertainment. But I wasn't trying to be funny at their expense, I genuinely think these are good names. Is it really so wrong to want shelter animals to have personalities instead of just blending into the background with boring names? What would you have done? Story 4. I left my dying father during an emergency and I feel terrible. So I was my father's caregiver while he was battling stage 4 cancer, and I had to leave him during a medical emergency, and now I can't stop thinking about whether I'm a terrible person. This is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to talk about. My dad has stage 4 cancer, and most nights aren't good for him. It's been really tough watching someone you love go through that. So one morning I woke up and went downstairs to check on him, and he wasn't well at all. He was throwing up and just really struggling. I did my usual routine as his caregiver, getting him comfortable and situated, making sure he had everything he needed. I left the room to get him some water, and that's when I heard this thud. I ran back into the room and found him on the floor. He'd fallen. And here's where everything went wrong. At that exact moment, my nose started bleeding. Like, really bleeding. So here I am trying to help my dad who's on the floor, and I'm bleeding everywhere. I'm trying to pick him up while also trying to deal with my nosebleed, and I'm getting blood on him. It was this horrible, chaotic moment where I felt like I was making everything worse instead of helping. I managed to get him back into his chair, but I was still bleeding pretty badly. The whole situation felt so overwhelming and scary. My dad needed help, but I also needed to deal with my own medical issue. I felt like I couldn't properly take care of him while I was bleeding like that. So I made the decision to leave and get myself sorted out first, thinking I'd come right back and be able to help him properly. But now I keep second-guessing that choice. Should I have stayed with him no matter what? Should I have just dealt with my nosebleed while staying by his side? When someone is that sick and vulnerable, especially your own father, are you supposed to put their needs above everything else, even your own health? The guilt is eating at me because I feel like I abandoned him when he needed me most. I know he would never want me to feel bad about taking care of myself, but it's hard not to wonder if I made the right choice. Being a caregiver is so much harder than I ever imagined, and sometimes you're put in these impossible situations where there's no clear right answer. Am I wrong for leaving him in that moment? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.